and the Mighty 1190. Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. So we actually have a guest on the phone with us that was, you remember all them stories about cruise ships being stuck at sea and people not being allowed to get off? Well, she one of them. Donna.
Let's go on a cruise, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Morning, Donna Norwood joins us. Morning, Donna.
Good morning.
So which cruise ship were you on?
I was on the Coral Princess.
The Coral Princess. Now that's that's a Norwegian or what?
Princess, it's owned by Carnival.
Yeah.
Okay. And where was the cruise? What all ports of call did you go to?
Okay, I was traveling with my college roommate, and we flew into Santiago, Chile.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, we had several ports of call until the trouble began around the 14th of March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the last time we left the ship was on the Falkland Islands on March 13th.
I bet you said you weren't off this Falkland ship when they got there. So how long was the cruise supposed to last?
It was supposed to be 14 days. We were supposed to dock in Buenos Aires on March 19th.
Man,
and leave the ship to fly home.
That's a real cruise. Most of us go to Cozumel.
Yeah.
No, that's a heck of
It ended up being quite an adventure.
So how many days were you actually on the ship?
I was on the ship from March the 5th until April 7th.
Oh, no. Okay, so for a certain amount of time, it was a regular cruise, and y'all were having having a great time, I'm sure.
Yes.
Once the pandemic started, what happened to you on the ship? What were you allowed or not allowed to do?
Well, starting on March 14th, we were supposed to port on the 15th in Puerto Madryn, and we were told that we were not going to be able to port there. We then went on to, we were supposed to stop in Montevideo, but we went straight on to Buenos Aires.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, they began checking temperatures of the people on the ship just to make sure that everybody was still healthy.
Yeah.
And we had no illness or no sickness on our ship.
So up to this point, you missed some ports of call, but business as usual on the ship. You could still go around, do everything you could normally do on the ship.
Right. We did not get put into our rooms. We were asked to stay in our rooms, let me think. I believe that was March 31st. No. March 19th, I believe.
Uh-huh.
So at what point did it stop being a dollar dance playing through the thing cruise and start being a y'all getting bologna sandwiches?
Yeah. Well, it never got to that point. Even when they asked us to, when we found out that we had some cases of COVID, which actually they announced that late night on April 1st, which was a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked us to stay in our cabins. We could not come out. We were confined to the cabins at that point on. But we still had menus to fill out, and they still brought our meals to our doors and knocked on the doors, and then we got the meals in, ate them, and put the dishes back out. So, up until that point in time, it was really not, nothing was really disrupted until the 31st or the 1st.
Yeah.
And that's when we first found out that we had cases of COVID-19 on the ship.
Now, did you at least have a balcony room?
We did, yes,
Good.
and we spent a lot of time on it.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine somebody being in an inside room.
Oh, my
told
God.
they can't. It'd be like a jail cell.
Yeah.
Well, it would, and Princess did the right thing because once they confined us to our rooms, they moved, I think, all of the people in the inside cabins to a balcony cabin.
Oh, that's good.
We were not a full ship because the ship originated in California.
Yeah,
And some people got off in Santiago.
I see.
So then we went from Santiago to Buenos Aires, and then some people were going from Buenos Aires on to Fort Lauderdale. So it was not a full ship.
So at what port, when you finally got off the ship, where were you when you got off?
We thought we were going to Fort Lauderdale. That's what they had told us. I believe that was around the 22nd of March, after we had docked at Montevideo for fuel and supplies. And the closer we got to Fort Lauderdale, the more iffy that became, because the two Holland America ships were docked at Fort Lauderdale. So eventually they told us that we could not go there, so we ended up in Miami.
Yeah.
And we got into Miami on Saturday, April 4th. And they got the sick people, the ones that were sick and had to go to the hospital, they got them off first. And then later that evening, for example, my roommate Donna was from Florida. She had a Florida address, so she was allowed to get off the ship. Floridians were allowed off first.
Yeah.
So they started calling them on the evening of the 4th of April. Then they started letting people fly home on, that began on Sunday. But after Sunday, the CDC changed their guidelines and required that those of us on the ship had to be flown home on charter flights.
Oh, wow.
So they had to start booking charter flights, and I did not get to leave until Tuesday afternoon.
Good
I
Lord.
got home April the 7th.
Now, when it all started, would you say that Holland, or would you say that Princess Cruise Lines did as good a job as they could to still make people feel like they were on as much of a vacation as you can, stuck in the room?
I felt like Princess did everything the correct way, and they were very good to us. And there were people, of course, when we got off the ship that were complaining, but for the most part, I think Princess did everything they possibly could have to make that trip as tolerable as it could have been.
So, would you go on another cruise?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Donna, did Princess offer any shipboard credits or anything like that for the future?
They did offer us credit for the ports that we did not get to go to.
Uh-huh.
I have not heard anything else about any other types of credit at this point in time. People on the ship kept thinking that maybe they would do that, but I have not received any official word on that. So as of right now, that has not happened.
What did you do to pass the time? Did you were you able to do Netflix, watch movies?
Well, you're on the balcony, right? I guess there was still room service, right?
Yes, we still had service, and they put lots of extra movies and TV series and all kinds of things to watch on the TV.
I was watching The Love Boat.
And on a cruise ship, you have all kinds of games, trivia games and things like that. So they would put puzzles under the door. They would do the trivia questions and put them under the door. So Donna and I would just kind of make a routine, and we would do the trivia questions back and forth to each other. We watched a lot of TV. We read a little bit until I finished my books and sat outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you just have to make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, I've been on cruises too, and some people, no matter what happens, you won't be able to satisfy them, and they're going to be,
That's right.
negative about it. And other people, you get lemons, you make lemonade. You just do the best you can. At least it wasn't a horror story. Every once in a while you hear these stories about sewage backing up, and at least you didn't have all that.
That's true.
No, we did not have all that. The worst part for me was after Donna got off the ship. I was there on Sunday, Monday, and most of Tuesday by myself And that got a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't have anybody to talk to, so you just watch TV and watch TV.
Yeah, yeah.
It's outside.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like, listen, room service, can y'all bring me a paddle and one of them floats?
We binge watching Gilligan's Island up in
Yeah.
here.
Well, listen, we're glad you made it home safe, and we
Yeah.
appreciate you taking time to talk with us this morning.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I am glad to be home. I've never been so happy to see Union County full.
Hey,
I'll bet you
I
are.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Sure, y'all have a good day.
All right.
Yeah.